we're going to tackle the 10 deadly sins of PowerPoint. So, in David Letterman countdown style, here is the 10th one first. Most presenters use PowerPoint as a crutch. Often you will find the presenter reading every single word on the slide to you. This is my personal idea of purgatory, since we can read 7 to 10 times faster than the presenter can say the words. That means we are bored about 86% of the time we are listening to a presenter. Have you ever seen a slide where you can barely read the text because it is just too small? How about a slide with so much information on it that you would need a magnifying glass and 2 hours to figure out what all those numbers mean? There are lots of ways to avoid doing these things, but you have to want to try. I go to a lot of insurance seminars, and I can assure you, folks out there just aren't trying hard enough. Have you ever seen a presentation where the author didn't have much to say, so they thought they could cover it up with animation? Bouncing, crawling, blinking text is a huge distraction. Unless the animation adds to the message in your presentation, leave it turned off. PowerPoint contains tricks of slide transition or text and graphics animation that are almost all unnecessary, distracting, and often too cute. Tricks such as text that bounces into the screen or shoots into the slide from the side margins or flips upside down, etc., adds nothing to the presentation and usually just detracts from its professionalism. It isn't just text size or too much information that makes a slide unreadable. How about the presenter who uses white text and then inserts a background of light blue sky with clouds? Using text and background colors that are too alike, or maybe worse, too different, can make your audience's head spin. It is generally considered impolite to give your audience a migraine, so think about the total slide design before you start creating. Everyone has seen a PowerPoint presentation that exhibits an awful, sometimes even embarrassing, lack of design sense, especially when the presentation is displayed in low contrast colors that make it difficult to read. Nothing destroys a presenter's effectiveness more thoroughly than when the audience is straining to see what's on the screen, or when people are wincing because of a bad design or color scheme. Having your presentation die on you is incredibly frustrating, and it happens a lot more than you think. Presenters who don't get to the venue early to test the equipment while there is still time to make repairs often end up giving a talk about what went wrong with their PowerPoint rather than about the intended topic. If this happens to you, don't start muttering about what might be wrong. Just launch right into your talk as though there weren't supposed to be slides. Your audience will love you for it. This problem happens a lot when a speaker moves on to a new topic that leaves an old slide up. Remember, there is nothing wrong with inserting a blank slide that you put up while you tell a story or transition into a new topic area, or pause for some discussion. So, are any of you guilty of any of these first 6 deadly sins of PowerPoint? Can you give me an example that you saw or that happened to you? Are you familiar with the term talking head? It refers to a newscaster or someone who is yakking about something they know a lot about. It is considered pretty boring, which is why newscasts are infused with video footage of fires, snow-covered trees, and police lights flashing. Well, some presenters take this to the next level by becoming the talking headless. By that I mean they stand to the side or behind the computer screen on the podium and ramble on as the slides scroll by. This is nice for those in the audience who had a late night because it creates the ideal conditions for a little cat nap. It can, however, be annoying for those who expected to see a speaker or who feel compelled to stay awake out of courtesy. Last year, I attended a class where the presenter had a laser pointer and he twirled it over and over the slide to the point where some of the students had to close their eyes or risk having seizures. Remember, the pointer on the computer or a laser pointer are just cover-ups for a bad slide. If there is something important on your slide, you should know it ahead of time and highlight it effectively on the slide in your design. Note, a little animation can work well for you here, so you're allowed to use it. Have you ever had the presenter give you the PowerPoint handout slides ahead of time? Do you find yourself flipping ahead to see how many more slides there are? At least in these cases, you have an idea how long you are going to be tortured. It's when they don't give you the handouts and you have no idea if you are 3 minutes or 30 minutes away from the end that is killer. So be sure to manage your audience's expectations. and learn to watch their vital signs. If you are losing them, shorten up your talk by skipping a few slides or breaking to involve the audience in some way so they re-engage. Whatever you do, don't talk too long. If your speech can be given without the PowerPoint, then your audience will probably be delighted to have you add to the experience with some visuals. However, if the underlying speech is weak or boring, no amount of slides can fix that. So start with the premise of your talk and make sure you could talk about it without any visual aids. Then add a PowerPoint and bring some show and tell items to put your presentation over the top. Let's look at how good a job I've done in keeping your attention. How many of the 10 deadly sins can you recall? Would some pictures help you remember?